Hey there tech fans, Rick here again with another review, and today I have the Orei UKM-404 4 input, 4 output USB matrix. This product makes it very easy for you to connect 4 different USB devices up to 4 different computers at the same time, and you have complete control over which of those devices are connected to which of those computers at any given time using the buttons on the front of the unit, the included remote control, or through software over your network. The product provides full support for the very latest USB 2.3 Generation 1 standard and is completely compatible with older versions of USB as well, so you can use it with all of your peripherals. Finally, the product provides high-speed data transfer at up to 5 gigabits a second, which means you can connect up an external drive and share it among your computers. Now, before I get too deep into the review, I always like to start with an unboxing just to show you everything that's included with the kit, and that way you'll understand exactly what you get if you buy the product. And then I'll take a closer look at the matrix and explain the connections and indicators so you understand how to use it. And then I'll come back and point out a few things that I really like about this product that you can use to compare it to other USB matrix products you may be considering. So let's get started with the unboxing. When you first open up the box, you'll find the USB matrix. You'll also find a bag with 4 rubber feet inside that are used on the bottom of the unit to protect the surface you set it down on. You'll also find screws in here to attach the bracket to the unit and a sticky pad you can use with the infrared extender. Also included is a single DC 24 volt 1.25 amp power supply. You'll plug this into any standard wall outlet. The other end of it has a barrel connection on it, and it has a locking collar as well. This plugs into the back of the unit and you can tighten the collar so it doesn't pop out. You'll also find an infrared extender module, and this is really handy because if you mount this inside of a wiring closet or a cabinet and you close a door, the remote control can't work because it needs to see the front of the unit. So this allows you to plug one end into the back of the unit and take this infrared receiver and mount that outside your wiring closet or your cabinet so it can actually pick up the signals from the remote control. You'll also find a bracketing kit you can use to mount this up off the ground and out of the way if you choose to do that. An infrared remote control, which is really handy to make the selections of which devices are connected to which computers from a distance away from the matrix. You'll also find a cable you can use to connect it up to your computers. This is a USB to USB, and this is what transfers the signals to your computer from those external peripherals. You'll also find another cable that's an RS-232 3-port to a standard computer connector, and this is used if you'd like to control it from a computer. You'll plug this into the back of the unit and this into your computer to accomplish that. Finally, you'll find a full instruction manual that lists connection diagrams, specifications, and other really important details you'll need to understand about this particular product to use it correctly. It's always a good idea to read through that manual. Now, if you stay tuned next, I'll take a closer look at the unit, explain the connections and indicators, and then I'll remind you of a few things that are really different about this particular product that you can use to compare it to other USB matrix products you may be considering. The product features a full metal enclosure which makes it incredibly durable and also helps to minimize outside interference from causing any issues with the electronics inside. On either side, you'll find ventilation slots that are designed in the cabinet to allow heat to escape during operation and keep the electronics inside at a very comfortable temperature. You'll also notice 2 mounting holes that can be used with the included bracketing kit to mount this module up off the ground and out of the way if you like. On the front of the unit, starting on the left, is a power indicator. The minute you add power to the module, it starts an internal power on self-test where it's checking all the electronics. It's also checking the connection to your USB devices, as well as the connection to your hosts. When it completes that test, it'll light that LED letting you know the module's ready to use. To the right of that are 4 buttons that correspond to the 4 devices you have connected to the USB matrix: a microphone, a keyboard, maybe an external hard drive, and a camera, and those can be any standard USB device. When you push that button, it'll move that device between the 4 computers you have connected as well, so each of the devices have their own button, and you can mix and match as needed all these devices across all the computers. On the rear of the units where you'll make all your connections, on the left you'll find 4 host connections on the bottom and 4 USB connections on the top. These are standard USB-A ports here, and again, these connect to your computers on the bottom, and they correspond to number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4. To the right of that is a 3.5mm port. That's where you'll plug in the IR extension module if you decide to use that. Simply plug it in there and mount the receiver outside the cabinet. To the right of that is a 3-port RS-232 connection. That's used with the included cabling kit if you'd like to control this directly from a computer. To the right of that is a LAN port. You can connect this up to your local area network and remotely control the matrix from a distance using the software. Then finally to the right is the DC input port. That's used with the included power supply. You'll plug one end into a standard wall outlet, the other end of that cable as a barrel connector, plug it in there, tighten the collar, and you're set. That's pretty much it for the matrix. I hope you found that closer look helpful. Now here are a few things that I really like about the Orei UKM-404 that you can use to compare it to other USB matrix products you may be considering. The first thing is, I love the fact that it's got 4 inputs and 4 outputs. A lot of the USB matrix products on the market are limited to 2 or 3 inputs and maybe 2 or 3 outputs, and that may be enough for you today, but as you increase the number of USB peripherals you're using, or if you get extra computers, it's always nice to know you've got extra connections on the back. So having 4 inputs means I can support things like microphones, external drives, mice, keyboards, things that plug in through USB, and having 4 outputs means even though I've only got a laptop and a home computer now, I may buy additional equipment down the road and I've got plenty of ports to connect it up. I really like the fact that they've included the infrared extender module because this gets mounted inside of a cabinet and I can't use my remote control. So having this extender module allows me to put this in a cabinet, close the door, and have this tiny little receiver outside the cabinet to pick up those infrared signals. I like the fact that they've included brackets because I don't want to lay this down on the ground. I don't want to have to set it up on top of a cabinet. This allows me to mount it someplace out of the way where it still works just fine because I can extend the infrared, but I don't have to look at it. I also like the fact that they've included a remote control because a lot of these units rely on the buttons on the front of the unit, and then I have to walk over to it to hit the buttons to make my selections. The remote control makes it incredibly easy for me to decide which of those devices are connected to which of the computers. And then the last thing I'll mention is the software control. That's something very unusual with a USB matrix like this. Most of them provide buttons, certainly, maybe a remote control, but having software control as well, that I can use the direct connect cable or the LAN connection on the back, means that I can be quite a distance away from the unit and still make those selections. So if I have this in my computer room and I'm in my office in the other room, I can get on my computer, use the interface, and make the selections I need to make those connections. So all those things being equal, make this a really valuable unit. I've used it for quite some time and I like it an awful lot, and I think you'll like it as well. So thanks a lot for watching. I hope you found this review helpful, and until next time, stay nerdy.